Shalom. Welcome to the monthly, a mentoring moment at Emma's table. I am your lone facilitator today, Cynthia, and I'm glad that you're watching this video. I'm glad that you found this video. Hopefully, you will take a minute, go to our website, www.starcommunity.online, subscribe so that you can get emails, and you can also access a lot of information about trauma awareness on our website as well. And also go to our Facebook page, and I think we have Instagram. Look for the Star Community, click like, follow us so that you can join us in some of these conversations. Before we get started today, I do want to remind you, when you go to our website, please click on the Pangea link. You can get some feminine hygiene products there. I think there's some oral health care and some other holistic care products on the Pangea website. Please use our link to order your products, and that way you'll be getting some quality products, and you'll also be supporting the Star community. You can also on our website find our link to our Flower Power fundraising link. That's on our website as well. You can go there and order your seeds if you want to grow vegetables, or if you just want to grow flowers for beautification. But when you order through our link, again, you are supporting the Star community, and we very much appreciate that. You can also find some Star merch on our website. We have t-shirts, and of course you can access my books through Lady Love Publishing, and anything that you purchase on the Star Community website goes to support trauma awareness. So we thank you for that. I hope that you've been following some of the recordings. Normally we have a group of ladies here together and we're chatting, but today we're going to start with part one of this conversation that I am calling our mid-year pulse check. So every month, as we do the monthly, what we do is go through our Me Time calendar that we produced for this year. And there's a quote from one of the 6 fabulous ladies that contributed to the calendar for this year. So when you go to the website, you can go and click on, the month that you want to view. And the ladies are generally talking about their quote that they submitted for the calendar. They talk about what was going through their mind, why that is one of their favorite quotes, how maybe that quote has helped sustain them through, different times device is ready to pair in their lives. That's my computer talking. How about that? And so we've done 6 of those. And sometimes I think some of the most powerful conversation, though, happens before or after we record. And some of those things we don't want recorded. So that's why we encourage you to become a part of the Star community, because there's a whole lot more that goes on behind the scenes. So for one thing, I was a little late this time getting our monthly recording done. But as I looked at the quotes for July and August, for July, I think it was Portia's quote says, "A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor." And then Kiana's quote for August says, "Simply peace." So again, in view of my slothfulness and getting the July recording done late, I thought, we need to combine these. We'll still do a part 1 and part 2. But I wanted to kind of put those 2 thoughts or those 2 quotes together. Again, our conversations here at the Star community, and particularly with the monthly, it's really about peeling back layers of trauma, stress, the stuff that gets us bogged down in life, and ultimately causes us not to function at our highest capacity. Now, what's interesting though, when I look at Portia's quote about a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor, what that also brings to mind is, if we're going to grow and mature in life, rough seas, turbulent times are necessary. They have to happen. If not, we don't grow. We don't exercise our muscles. We don't exercise our faith. We don't stretch our abilities. We never discover talents and resources that are tucked inside of us. So while we often have to process the negative things that sometimes happen to, through, and around us, we have to also keep in mind that those very things are necessary. It is a part of our making. There's no way around it. So while we know they're not going to be smooth seas, I think the joy of it is that we know ultimately, if we navigate properly, the end result is peace. Okay, I already want to take that back. The end result is peace. Let me take that back. Let me take that back. Because what I really want to say is, when we learn how to master our processes, really you will have peace even in the midst of. You know, now I'm afraid that I'm going to start sounding a little bit too quotish or too cliche-ish or even too churchy. And that is not the intent at all, because this is actually real life. You know, we find that, and I do hope that you'll go back and listen to some of the previous videos, because there's so much wisdom that comes out of those ladies. But what we find is, after you've hit a couple of those rough spots in the sea, or you've hit some turbulence, when you begin to really dig into who you are, you find so much resilience, so much that you didn't even know was there. And it gives you the will, but it gives you the desire even to push forward. And then not only that, but then to share, so that you can help undergird and support other women in particular, but other people in general. So when we look at, and if you didn't get a calendar this year, you'll have your opportunity. You can get one next year. And I think we're gonna do it again. And we use this calendar to kind of help us journal through the year. And again, process our thoughts and process all of these things that come at us, these things that we're encountering. If we be honest, some of it may be of our own doing. However, there are some things that we have absolutely nothing to do with, and you look up and bam, there it is, and you have to deal with it. So when we look at what I think it was Portia contributed for July, and as I said, and then Kiana contributed for August, just those 2 months alone, there's so much flow as we talk about, again, the rough seas and the things that we encounter, but then ultimately the peace that we're able to experience. So, you know, I just wanted to take this time to start part one of this mid-year pulse check that we're doing here at the monthly. Number one, again, because I was a little late getting our link together and getting everything together for us to record for the month of July. And then as things kind of got pressed, I realized, you know what, rather than waiting and rescheduling times and trying to coordinate all of the schedules, since I was a little bit late, I found it necessary that I press and do this part one recording myself. Number one, because I'm totally shy. Anybody who knows me, I loathe talking into a device, okay? But this is something that I committed to at the beginning of the year, that we would do these monthly. And this is a part of my process, okay? And if I don't complete my process, then none of the ladies or anyone else that is attached to me will effectively complete theirs. I say that carefully, and maybe we'll get into that some other time, but we have to be mindful that we are all connected. Now, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted, because if you have something attached to you that just totally won't do and causes very much a hindrance in you pursuing your destiny and your goals, that thing can and will be dealt with one way or the other. And again, that's another story for another day, because you know I will go down a rabbit hole, but I ain't going there, okay? I'm gonna try to stay on this topic. But what I'm saying is, I will not be a stumbling block, especially to any of the young ladies that are attached to me. So this is a part of what I need to do. And as much as I do not like talking into a device, I decided that I needed to go on and get this recording done so that we can press to the next ones, okay? So the monthly, this is our part one, our mid-year pulse check. So what I'm really going to be looking at for part two, so this is our prep time. I hope that you'll see this video in time and get the information, and then join us when I get the flyers out in a timely manner to join the conversation, because we're going to talk about three things. I just kind of want to put this on the table, on Ema's table, okay? So when we started recording, making these recordings, I think it was about May of 2020. That was our first online recording of this sort. We actually recorded that. I think we called that a gathering of the hot mamas, handling obstacles, telling truth, okay? And one thing we talked about was how were we handling then, because that was May of 2020. How were we handling everything that was going on with the pandemic and just life and stresses of being a woman? And then now we have all of this new thing going on in our world. And we talked about our faith. We talked about how were we handling and processing all of the information that was being thrown at us about a lot of things, about everything. But you know, I noticed you can look at YouTube or read a news article or what have you, and you watch one video that will have a lot of information on a subject about, you know, why you should or should not. Then there's another video immediately afterwards debunking everything that was just in the previous video with a lot of evidence and information. So there is so much that's being thrown at us from a lot of different directions. And if we're not careful and grounded, it can be overwhelming. And you know, now I'm really am not an emotional, not an emotional person. I'm passionate. And somebody told me one time, hey, that's why people don't like you, is because you're so loud and passionate. At first I was offended, but then I realized, oh my God, it's true. I am loud. All my people loud. And I am passionate. But what I will also say is I'm not emotional. I'm not really emotional. Often I'm able to take the emotional side of things out and you know, and just kind of deal with what is. But I have found recently, with so much information and things and stuff and challenges, I feel a little bit overwhelmed. And it's so interesting. I'm 57 years old, and this This is this is not braggadocious, and I'm not saying it's good at all. But this is the first time that I can remember that I sometimes feel like I just can't, I don't know, I can't process this. I told a friend of mine a little while back, I cry more now than I ever have. If I feel like it needs to flow, I let it flow. So I want us to have that conversation, even if not with each other, with ourselves. Think about how you feel when you watch the news or talk to certain people. What feelings are you getting? What's happening? And if you find that those feelings are uncomfortable, and they make you, and they kind of brings you down, well, then I would suggest you kind of limit your exposure, to that source, whether it be the news, whether it be a friend or a family member, who would limit it, and find some ways to kind of process the information before you take on too much and then not be able to process it. So we kind of talked about some of that when we did that first recording about May 2020. And we also talked about technology, how some of us may not be as accustomed to using technology as others. And how are we going to handle that? Because truly that's where we are. There are things, I think, where we may not have been comfortable with computers, or even, we have watches, all of these technology things that are really moving swiftly. Maybe we're not comfortable with it, and feel like, well, I'm just not going to deal with that. Well, I want you to reconsider and kind of get with it a little bit. And if you can find a younger person, or maybe not so younger person, that is a little bit more skilled with some things than you are, reach out to them. Or again, you can inbox the STAR community about any of this stuff. And we don't have all the answers, may not have any of the answers, but we can help find some answers, and we can help get you connected, even if it's, again, trying to learn something about technology, something that's going to help you function. So again, we wanted to have this mid-year checkpoint, this mid-year pulse check. I know at the beginning of the year, so many of us were talking about launching our businesses and just ideas and things that we've held in perhaps for years, and there was never a good time. Well, we're over halfway through the year now. Where are you? Have you launched? If not, why? Again, well, we just flow and be transparent. I have seen, just in the last couple of months, young people leave this earth, young people who I'm old enough to be their mother, swiftly gone. We can't take anything for granted. We certainly can't take life lightly. We were dispatched into this earth realm to make some deposits. It seems like we get so caught up with the withdrawals. How much money am I making? How big is my house? What kind of car am I driving? The clothes, the whatever. With just a lot of the material things. And I know we hear these conversations all the time. I just want to remind you, and because it's interesting to me how all of these things that we think we can touch and feel, things that we call tangible. It's interesting to me that these are the things that aren't even important. Ain't that something? The things that we think are real, that we can touch, and we want to hoard this, and we got to get a lot of this and a lot of that. those are not even the things that's real. So we're we're stressing and we're running and we're, you know, doing all this stuff to attain and acquire stuff that's not even real. That blows my mind. So what we want to make sure that we do is the junk that comes to weigh us down and get us waylaid and sidetracked. We want to deal with it, process it properly, and then it was I can't remember that group. Was it? I think it was the Williams brothers. Talk about pack it under my feet. You know, we want to process that and then use that to help us elevate, so that what we leave, our deposit that we leave in this earth, so that it is of quality, so that it is substance for the next generation. Okay, for those that come after us. If we live and operate simply based on what I can get, or even what I can do and who I am, that is selfish. And it's all dung, okay? So we need to process our thoughts, our feelings, the situations, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and then allow that to be formed and shaped into something that can be then packed layer upon layer, so that it is beneficial to our next generation. I'm not even going down the road of kind of where I see our young people right now. That's another story for another day. We'll talk about that some other time. But it really concerns me that, again, in my generation, you know, and where we are, either we are not focused on what we're leaving, or we're focused maybe on what we're leaving, but we're still trying to operate in silos and in our own worlds, and my foe and no mo, you know how we do. And we are communal people. So we need to have some individual processing of things, but then there's a collective processing. And again, we'll get to some of that later. But we are here now because since May of 2020, and no less since January of 2021, there has been so much collectively, and then some of us even individually, that we just need to process. We need to talk through some of our trauma. Don't tell all your business. Don't look here. Don't tell all your business. You ain't got to tell all your business, because everybody's not really trying to help. Some folk just want to know. But you have to find or create your safe space where you can release and then get some clarity. Again, so that the deposit that we're leaving here is good, and it is of substance, and that our children and our children's children can build on. So part one, I'm going to pose the questions to you. I think I started. And as I said, anybody know me, I will go down a rabbit hole. Okay. So you can just come with me, or you stay up there by the curb and wait till I get back. I'll go through the roundabout and I will be back. So yes, I will go down a rabbit hole. So look, this is part one. Here are the questions, because we want you to be on the lookout for the flyer. Join us for part two of our mid-year pulse check. And we'll see if we can eat. We may even have some prizes if you get on the mid-year pulse check part two. So you might want to look out for that. So this is what we're going to be talking about. Since May of 2020, have you sensed a shift in your faith perspective? If so, we're going to ask you to talk about that a little bit. Just kind of tell us where you are. Again, I want to be clear. When you come to the STAR community, it's a safe zone. It is safe space. We just what we're concerned about is the growth, is the connectivity and the growth. So we want to talk about, have you sensed any shift, stronger, weaker, evolved, I don't know, in your faith perspective? If so, we want to talk about that. We also kind of want to go back and touch bases. Have you learned any new technical or self-care skills? If so, would you be willing to teach somebody else, or just coach somebody else, or just get on the phone and help talk assist through, using Zoom? I hope I'm recording now. I click some buttons, we'll see. Okay. But would you be willing to share? Let somebody, or even if you found a new app that helps you do something, just be willing to share. That's all. We're building community, the STAR community. Okay. And the last thing that we want to talk about when we get to part 2 is, what is your greatest concern moving forward? And how are you counteracting that concern? Okay. Again, there's a lot of things that come at us, and there's so much uncertainty. And again, what I at 57 years of living, and I find myself at a pivot point in more than one area. And change is not comfortable at all, but it is necessary. So it's okay to have concerns. It's not okay to live in fear. It's okay to have concerns. I went into this room on, I think it was on Clubhouse or something, and it was talking about your fears. I can't remember the exact title of the room, but the question was asked, when was the last time you had to do something in fear? You were fearful, but you had to do it anyway. When was the last time? And when it got to me, I felt kind of silly, but I said, oh my goodness, I've really done just about everything in fear since 1993. I don't know. I didn't have a playbook. And a lot of it, I'm sure I got wrong. So, you fear, hey, we don't embody a spirit of fear. So things come at us sometimes to make us fearful and will cause concern, but that's not where the focus is. Because every day you got to get up, wash your face, comb your hair, put on some clothes, go out there and handle it. Okay. So we can't live there and dwell there. But there are things now, if we be honest and if we be real, because anybody walking around here super spiritual and just, whatever, and we just gotta stop it. Don't do that. Because we have pivoted. Earth, mankind, the pivot has happened. We're in a whole something else that none of us have ever experienced. And we need to be watchful, and there are some legitimate concerns but we need to seek the Most High for direction, and so that we can prepare for the pivot. Well, as I said, the pivot is happening. We got to catch up. Okay. All right. So these are the things we want you to simmer this. Okay. And we want to come back and let's talk together. Let's share. Whenever we get on the calls, again, I'm usually the oldest thing on there, but I get so much strength from especially those young sisters. Man, if I was as smart as some of them when I was their age, boy, I tell you what, it would be on and popping. But I get so much strength and wisdom from each one of them every time. And we just want to now, we're coming out a little bit, and we want to share this, and we want to spread this, and we want you to join us. So go to our website and subscribe. I think I have it set up that I can respond to you. I'm going to get some of the young people to check that out for me. But certainly on Facebook, like our page, then you'll see the flyer. But when you go to the website, use our Pangea link and our flower power link and get you some star merch. So you can, with that baby I'm a star t-shirt, and support the star community. We are supporters of trauma awareness. We understand the reality of trauma, but we also want you to engage the resources. STARR, supporters of trauma awareness. Understand the reality, engage the resources. There are so many resources that are available, again, to help us process. Sometimes all you need is just a friend or somebody to listen without judgment and just let you talk it through. I can't tell you how many times, I might call up a friend or something and, just kind of start talking. And even as I'm talking, I'm hearing the answer come out of my own mouth. So sometimes we just need a safe space, to talk through things, because rough seas and turbulent times will come. It's going to happen. There's no way around it. It's okay. We all experience it, but we have to learn how to navigate those times. As a matter of fact, I as I was reading Portia's quote about a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor, I thought about something I wrote in the front of my first book, which is entitled "Oh Joy." I noticed it was like it was a conversation between me and God, and I mean, it was just flowing. One day I was probably going through some madness, and I wrote, "Lord, I find that when I seek your face for direction during troubled and turbulent times, you draw close to me, planting your gifts for ministry and nuggets of creativity." I hear the Most High respond and say, "I planted the gifts and nuggets before you were born. I ordained trouble and turbulence to shift hidden treasures to the surface." My response then was, "Stir up the gifts, Lord." And his response was, "Hold on, my child. It's going to be a bumpy ride." It's going to be a bumpy ride, but you're gonna make it, okay? So I think that's all. Now, for someone who hates talking into a device, I have gone on, been kind of chatty, haven't I? But I do hope that you will join our star community. Again, just, go to the website, like us on Facebook, just so you can see some of the events and link with some of the resources. And don't just hold on to it. Share with someone else, okay? So www.starcommunity.online, and we will see you next time for part 2 of our mid-year pulse check right here at the monthly, a mentoring moment at Emma's table. I'm Cynthia, and I love you to life. Shalom.